So today I am staying at White City House. I've got a medium room and I'll be working there. I've got a meal with someone tonight and then I'm going to stay over and then I'm working there in the morning and I'm going to log everything that happens. You're not supposed to film in Soho House, but I will try and sneak some footage. I can certainly film in my own room, right? So you can see what the room's like. I hope you guys notice what I'm doing with this vlog. I'm being quite eclectic. So we're doing lots of different things, but ultimately everything is about identity and self-discovery, self-acceptance. And I'm hoping that I myself can find that through these vlogs, which I am actually doing. And also the people watching at home can find something a bit about themselves, or at least be inspired in some way. So it's not a sports vlog, it's not a party vlog, it's not a Polish vlog, it's not a Soho House vlog. It's a variety of all different things, all based around my life and my journey of self-discovery. So hope you enjoy. Just did something that was very London wanker-ish. There was a guy, I was getting on the tube and the tube was there and there was a guy ahead of me and he was walking really slowly and I basically pushed him onto the tube because he was just so fucking slow. Last episode I was talking about being a Boltonian. Now I'm a fucking Londoner. Again, I'm somewhere between the two. Am I proud to be from Bolton? Yes. But I'm also proud to be a Londoner as well, and I consider myself both. Some people may think that as sacrilege, but for me it's, you know. So just going past BBC Studios, like you do. Television Centre. So they still do stuff here. This building that I'm going to go in is the old building which they've converted into White City House, which is for, you know, posh wankers like myself. And there's Television Centre, really cool, really bougie, right? Maybe one day I'll be walking through BBC Studios as a presenter or with a TV show or something like that, you know? Maybe, one day. So as you can see, the style of this hotel is sort of like a 60s, 70s, how would you describe it? Sort of like a postmodern type feel. I'm of course going to do the obligatory door open. So here we are. So we've got bedroom, chairs, TV, got a little makeup thing when I'm doing my hair later. Big bed, nice couch as well. Let's see the toilet, shall we? Let's see the Kazi. This was the only medium room they had, which has this sort of disabled access. So it has this little bar here, but as you can see, there's the toilet. And there's a shower there. Would have liked to have had a bath, but not possible. Thought I might have had a balcony, but it's not much of a view, is it? It's just the roof and some cranes. So we'll keep the blinds shut for now. So what I've started to do is basically with all these things is instead of going on like a week-long holiday, I have like a day or two in a place like this, which is like really fancy and quite expensive. I think I prefer it, you know, rather than going traveling for a week somewhere and then spending, you know, however much you are traveling for a week. I'd rather just do this a short 1-2 night stay and just do it like that, really. So I'm not going on any extravagant holidays. Oh wow, I've just noticed this. I don't know if you can see, maybe with the light. So you've got all the BBC people, you know, classic BBC presenters, comedians. Hopefully you can see with the light, it's a bit, you know. Here they all are. Wogan, Dawn French, Morecambe and Wise, Ab Fab, Lenny Henry. Lenny Henry I actually saw recently when I went to the Groucho Club. I saw him and he was very serious. Looked like he's now a proper serious actor because he came across as being very serious. And of course, Norwich's finest and Manchester's finest, Steve Coogan, Alan Partridge. He's going to be watching me and what happens in this room tonight. Aha! So I've been spending quite a lot of money recently, and I do need to curb it a little bit. But my attitude is basically, you know, fuck it. I've got the money now. It wasn't that long ago when I had absolutely nothing and I can afford it. And I know people will say, well, you got to save it, you got to save your money. Don't squeeze every penny. But I've never been a saver and I don't want to become one now. So I just feel like, you know, I can afford it. So why not treat myself? And, you know, these times may never come around again, right? So why not, you know, why not enjoy them? So I'm now going to check out the famous White City Gym. I've been before, but it was quite a while ago. All I remember, it's just absolutely huge. It's like the biggest gym you've ever seen. So let's check this out. This is actually my favorite of the White City houses. Art Deco is the word I was looking for before. You can see all down there. Sort of like, a bit like The Shining. You see a little girl go past on a bike. Actually, I think it might have been a little boy. I can't remember. Leave your answer, if you know the answer, stick it in the comments. What? Stick it in the comments. Just quite fucked myself up. So just finished in the gym now. Just going back to have a shower and then get ready for something to eat tonight. I had really bad bloating from the weekend, you know, all the beer and everything, and been in the gym for the last hour or so. It really helps, you know, so if you ever suffer from bloating, I recommend getting on the treadmill. And I think that's what people that do, I know Man vs. Food, he used to always, whenever he did a competition, you know, whenever he did a fucking eating contest, he would then go and spend 2-3 hours on a treadmill to help him digest his food. So if Man vs. Food does it, so calling it a night now. I'm gonna have some sleep. Just met Sean Bean's wife, Ashley, in Soho House, in White City House. She's a producer and Hollywood producer. And I told her about the podcast and the YouTube channel and everything that I'm doing. And she was really, really supportive. And it means so much to have someone of her standing condone what I'm doing. You know, I told her about the master plan, about I'm starting with a podcast, starting with a vlog, building up the audience, and then moving into maybe documentaries, scripted, etc. So yeah, it's so nice to have someone of her stature condone what I'm doing, you know, and I'm on the right path. And I love doing it as well, you know. I love making these vlogs, I love making the podcast, and yeah, more to come. And starting small and building up, you know. If you want to be a producer, then produce something. Produce a vlog, produce a podcast series, which is exactly what I've done. And it's just so cool to meet someone like that and have them say positive things. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. So I'm really buzzing about that. So yeah, more to come of these vlogs. And of course the podcast, season 2 is in development at the moment. It's gonna launch on the 26th of April. If you wanna be a producer, produce something. And that's exactly what I've done. So yeah, I'm really happy about that. So great. So I'm leaving the hotel now. I actually overslept. So it's now like 12:30, so I'm like half an hour late for checkout. I had one of those dreams where I checked out and everything was fine. And I woke up and I was like, oh, it was a dream. I went a bit mental with the mini bar last night. All the crisps I had and a beer. And I had a whole jar of olives. So that ringing then you just heard was the reception calling me to see if I need any help with the checkout. Oh, I left my shirt. That's vamos. Excuse me, sir. Do you need any help with the checkout? It's the most politest way in the world to say, please can you fuck off? Step into my office. So I've been sat working here most of the day. I'm right near the door, so people are walking past all the time. And I'm trying to make eye contact with attractive women that pass me by, but they just walk by like that. They don't make any eye contact. You know? All I want is a smile. That's all. Just a smile. Here we go, another one. No. Straight. Beautiful. Except the weather. So I'm leaving White City House now. I got a psychic call with a psychic at 7. So I'm sort of a little bit in limbo. The one drawback with the Soho houses is that, you know, the food is not amazing. I mean, okay, you know, you can have a meal there, great. But the food is, I think it's kind of trying to be like British hearty food, which is all right. But the food, I think there's better places to go than Soho houses for food. But everything else, you know, 5 stars. So now I'm gonna go find somewhere to eat and then wait for my psychic call, have the call with the psychic, and then I'm gonna go to see my friend play at a club. He's DJing. I'll stay there for a few hours and then I'll go home and go to bed. And that will be the final chapter of this vlog. So I'm now at the Bluebird Cafe. I wanted to talk about a little thing about the class structure, the class system in the UK. Does it still exist? You know, going to somewhere like Soho House, you get people from all over the world, but particularly you get English people that are of, I think, a bit of a higher class than anyone else, or at least they think they are, or they perceive themselves as being. And it's interesting, isn't it? Because it used to always be very clear the difference between someone that was working class and someone that was middle class, upper class in the UK. But now it's all a bit blurred, and I wonder what those blurrings, is that a word? I don't know if it's a word. Where those lines cross and meet, you know? Is there still a class system? I feel like there is definitely still a class system in this country. I think it does come down to the way that you speak. I met a person yesterday that was originally from Newcastle, but they were, you know, trying to clean up their accent. I mean, like I do the same, right? So, is that to do with class, the accent? I mean, I just try and speak as clearly as possible. Some of it comes from the acting training, and some of it is just me just trying to, you know, appear charismatic, communicative. But it's interesting though, isn't it? Does it still exist? Does the class system still exist? And how do people identify? Because it seems like no one is ever really proud of being middle class or upper class, but there's a pride in being working class. And if someone is working class but they're earning six figures and they don't really have much of a northern accent anymore, are they still working class? I don't know. Interesting to think about, though, isn't it? And other countries don't really have this, I don't think. Or maybe they do. I mean, like in America, I think a lot of their class is defined by race, right? But you still have like this southern drawl that a lot of Americans have. And maybe they're looked down upon. If, you know, if they go to a big city, maybe they're not seen in the same light. And the class system is something really interesting to talk about, how people identify and how people feel. And I suppose it's about just embracing where you come from these days, maybe more than where you actually are. I don't know. Maybe you guys have something to say in the comments about this. So just did the call with the psychic. In a nutshell, she basically said, you're doing everything right, keep going with what you're doing, and eventually success will come. Just keep working towards that, keep focusing on your career and on your businesses. And as for relationships, she said, well, that's not going to happen for a few years, so just keep building up your businesses and eventually it will come. So yeah, I think maybe just focus on these vlogs and my businesses and not really think about relationships at this point. It's really interesting though. I mean, I'm not like a believer as such in these sort of things. I just find it interesting to speak to these people, sort of see the tricks that they use. Tricks is not the right word. It's a little bit derogatory, isn't it, to say tricks. But you know, she's a really nice woman, and it was just nice to speak to someone. And I suppose all the psychics, they want to be, they know that their job essentially is to reassure whoever it is that they're speaking to, and I think that she definitely did that. So it's great. So yeah, that was my psychic reading. Unfortunately, I couldn't really record any of it, but you just have to take my word for it. Again, to link it back to self-discovery and self-awareness, I think any service that anyone does that allows the individual to look at themselves and look at their lives and think about themselves and talk about themselves, whether that be, I know therapy and psychic readings are a long way removed, but it's similar sort of energy, right? And I think that's only a good thing. So, you know, it's less about the hocus pocus for me and more about the self-awareness and the identity that comes with it, and thinking about yourself and things like that. I think that's that can only be a good thing. And as I put in my YouTube comment, Aristotle, Greek philosopher, you know, knowing yourself is the key to all wisdom. You know, if you don't know yourself, you can't know anything, right?
Thank